There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. But we're good. We are good. All right, let's see here. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We are going to get into this. We have got a big final two games in the NBA. We got a lot of positions that are not locked up yet. And I tell you what, last night's games actually, they really kind of changed how tonight and Sunday are going to go. So remember, tonight there's basically a full slate of games, and then nobody plays tomorrow. Nobody. They all play on Sunday. So let's go into playoff watch. It should be updated here. Only 2 games left for all 30 teams. This is big. This is big. And we're going to dive into this because the difference in positioning is going to be huge. It is going to be massive. So, first off, right now, after last night's games, the Knicks knocked off the Celtics. If you guys weren't able to watch it, it was on Prime. It was a great game. It was an absolutely great game. The Knicks pulled it out. You could tell they felt the pressure from the fact that the season, if they lost, they could drop to 4th. And the reality was the Knicks don't match up well with the Pistons. They just don't. The Pistons are so aggressive defensively. And now Cade Cunningham is back. Jalen Duren can seemingly beat up on Karl Anthony Towns pretty easily. So it's a really bad matchup for them. They'd much rather be third. And last night they knocked off the Celtics 112-106. The Raptors took care of business against the Heat 128-114. Rockets knocked off the Sixers 113-102. The Lakers beat the Steph-less Warriors again. So Lakers got a little bit of help from the fact that the Warriors didn't play anybody. So they won, which helps them actually keep pace trying to get the 4th seed in the West. So when you look at everything right now, it's really odd. It really is. It's really odd. And right now, the only 2 teams that are locked into where they're at are the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. Both of them are 10th. So, here are some of the most important games. Actually, this is most of them. These are the important games. From today, the Clippers go to Portland to play the Trailblazers. Whoever wins that game has the inside track on the number 8 seed in the West. The Timberwolves play the Rockets. Now, why is that critical? The Timberwolves are basically locked into 6. But the Rockets are going for 4. And if the Nuggets lose, they could easily be going for 3. Massive game. The Pistons are at the Hornets today. The Cavaliers are at the Hawks. The Suns are at the Lakers as the Lakers keep trying to fight for that fourth position. The Thunder at the Nuggets, with the Nuggets still trying to lock in spot number 3. It's fantastic. This is exactly what you want. In the Eastern Conference, 5 through 9 are not locked into where they are. They're not. The Sixers have gone on a 3-game losing streak. They are now sitting 8th. The Magic have gone on a 4-game winning streak. They are sitting 7th. The Hawks, who have now lost 2 in a row, play the Cavaliers again tonight, are only a game in front of the Magic. The Raptors, only a game in front of the Magic. The last night's win was huge. Well, the Raptors play the Knicks tonight, and the Magic get to play the Bulls, and the Bulls are coming off a back-to-back. The Magic are not. It's fantastic. It's exactly what we want as basketball fans. In the Western Conference, the final 2 games are going to decide who is 4 and 5. The Lakers and Rockets are tied. The Lakers have the tiebreaker. So currently, it is Oklahoma City Thunder at 1, Spurs at 2, Nuggets at 3, Lakers at 4, Rockets 5, Timberwolves 6, Suns at 7, Clippers 8, Blazers 9, and Warriors are sitting at 10. The Suns playing the Lakers tonight is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. There are so many different games that are going to be, they're going to affect what is the final standings for the year. There are a bunch of games that matter. Even against bad teams. So the 76ers lost last night to the Rockets. They play the Pacers in Indiana tonight. Why? Why does it matter? Because the 76ers are fighting. And you don't want to be number 9. Now, the Hornets, they got the Pistons. So it is going to be hard for them to pull this off. But on Sunday, Charlotte has the Knicks. And then the 76ers have the Bucks. But tonight's game is huge. If the Hornets knock off Detroit on the second night of a back-to-back, if the Hornets knock off Detroit, that sets up 2 of the most massive games there are. And the Knicks will be in a must-win on Sunday because Cleveland plays Washington. And since Cleveland plays Washington, if Cleveland can beat Atlanta tonight on Prime, 7 o'clock in Atlanta. Now, the thing is, Atlanta is a 7.5-point favorite. They've already ruled Donovan Mitchell out. They've already ruled Jared Allen out. They've already ruled Thomas Bryant and Sam Merrill out. So tonight it is only going to be James Harden for Cleveland. Which to me is odd. Because they're fighting with New York. You're fighting with New York for positioning. So is Toronto. Toronto is fighting for positioning. They want to beat New York tonight before Charlotte plays them on Sunday. It's just, there are so many different big games. It's outstanding. It's absolutely outstanding. Now, I don't know how this weekend is going to shake out. I really don't. Because there's always this thing inside of me where I believe, or I am hoping the Pacers beat the Sixers, the Bulls beat the Magic, these little teams just cause absolute chaos. But there are a lot of teams, playoff teams. Phoenix is playing LA. Minnesota is playing Houston. Denver, OKC. Clippers in Portland. Massive games. Just massive games that could be matchups in the playoffs. They could be. If the Rockets win out and the Nuggets lose to the Oklahoma City tonight, the Rockets could get to 3 and they would play the Timberwolves in round number 1. It would be the series. So every game matters tonight. I'm going to be watching intently. I'm going to be watching the scoreboard. I'm going to be watching all these different games to find out how this season and to find out what this season is going to look like heading into the final day, which is Sunday. And just a reminder, Sunday, every single game starts at 6 or 8:30. So by 11 o'clock Sunday night, the entire bracket will be set. Now you may say, okay, so that bracket's going to be set. What's the schedule? Well, as far as what I can tell, you have on Tuesday, so everybody will be off Monday. On Tuesday, the West 7-8 game and the East 7-8 game are going to play. As far as I can tell. Because Phoenix, who's locked into 7, is playing on Tuesday. And Golden State, who is locked in at 10, is playing on Wednesday. Now, both of these games are on Prime. Both of the playing games are on Prime. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love that. So, Tuesday and Wednesday will be playing days. They could do 7-8 and then a 9-10 on Tuesday. Because either way, they're going to be playing each other. And how they do this, I'm not sure how they're really going to do it. Let me see here. Let's go to this. Okay. So they don't even have the dates fully set yet for any of this. That explains it. That explains it. Okay. Yeah, they don't even have the dates set for anything. So we'll see what the dates end up being, because yeah, it's interesting. All right, so let's move to the lottery. Let's look at the bottom guys down here. Let's move to the lottery. So the Pacers beat the Nets last night, which puts them only a game in front of Brooklyn. Washington will be the worst team in the NBA league this year. That's fine. Next year is what they're looking at anyway. Now, This is what's interesting. Remember, the Pacers, this is a lottery. Remember, the Pacers have a traded pick. Okay? The way that this goes, there are a lot of traded picks. Okay? So for number one, the Utah Jazz are currently sitting at 4. Okay? If that pick were to fall outside the top 8, if it were to go to pick 9, the Thunder would get the Utah Jazz pick. The Portland Trail Blazers will send their pick to the Chicago Bulls. So the Bulls do have potential for a second first round pick. And if the Blazers make the playoffs, they just have to be outside of the lottery. If they make the playoffs, which is through the play-in tournament, the play-in tournament does not count as the playoffs. So if they make the playoffs through the play-in tournament, the Portland Trail Blazers lose their first round pick to the Chicago Bulls. The Clippers sent their pick to Oklahoma City, straight up. The Magic sent their pick to the Memphis Grizzlies, straight up for the Desmond Bane trade. Now, another one. The Atlanta Hawks will get the better of the picks. So the best pick between the Pelicans and the Bucks. Okay? Technically, the Pelicans, Hawks, and Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks in that trade will get the lesser of the picks. So Milwaukee will always have the worst pick between them and the Pelicans. Period. If the Indiana Pacers pick falls between 5 and 9, really weird numbers, it goes to the Clippers. So as of right now, Washington is 1. Pacers are sitting 2nd. Nets are 3rd. Jazz are 4th. And the Kings are 5th. The top 3 teams have a 14% chance at the number 1. 4 and 5 have an 11.5% chance at number 1. There's no guarantee anywhere. But in this draft specifically, the fact that the Bulls will probably have 2 picks, Donovan kind of blew off Reinsdorf's comments and his support. I know why he did that. I do. I know why he did that. He understands it's still business. He understands it's business. And he said, he goes, I appreciate the fact that he came out about how he felt about me as the head coach here. I appreciate that. But I understand this is still business. It's that simple. So I do hope Donovan stays. I really do. Now I'm waiting for Monday to see who else gets fired. I really am. Or if we're waiting for the play-in bracket. So some of the coaches that I was looking at this and looking this up. This is This could really get interesting. So here are some of the coaches that are sitting on the hot seat. Okay. We know the Warriors have this, they have this long-standing agreement with Steve Kerr. He had injuries. Jimmy Butler goes down. Steph goes down. They make the trade for Porzingis. This team is going to pivot. The Warriors are not a team built right now for the playoffs, for making a real move. They're built for being annoying, but I don't see them really trying to make a move because it's not Kerr. It was definitely injuries, but we'll see. So there is a aspect, and there is a sleeper team, and I didn't realize this. If the Atlanta Hawks only make the play-in, I think they're going to make the playoffs. Let me be very clear. The Hawks are going to make the playoffs easily. And I think even if they get to the play-in, they match up good against Miami. They match up good against, assuming for right now, Philly. And they match up decently against Charlotte. But there is a dark horse that Quinn Snyder, if they don't really do anything in the playoffs, how the season ends matters in the NBA a lot. It really does. The NFL, you can look at different things, but the NBA is really how did we close out that long year? And that matters. Now, I'm going to give you another playoff team, potentially, that their coach could be in trouble. And that's the Raptors, Darko Rajakovic. I do think he's a very good head coach. That roster in Toronto should be better than what they are, though. They really should. It should be better than what they are. And there is potential that a sweep in the first round could put him in an interesting position. Definitely potentially on the hot seat. Another head coach easily is Doc Rivers. I think there are a couple coaches that I would love to see bring in. I really do. Doc Rivers could be out. Willie Green with the Pelicans could be out. Listen, if the 76ers miss the playoffs again, Nick Nurse could be out. I don't think he should. I don't. I do not think he should. Whatsoever. Willie Green is 148-80 as a head coach. And you can't use, you really can't use injuries as the excuse anymore. We know the Blazers as of right now. We know the Blazers. They don't even have a head coach because Chauncey Billups got arrested. So they are going to be in the market for a head coach. Could the Grizzlies, with the way the draft is, could they fire Taylor Jenkins? I don't know. I don't know. And we'll have to see how this all plays out. But I do have a couple coaches I want to see in the NBA. Now, next month, the owners are going to vote. And remember, the NBA is going to expand. The NBA is going to expand, and they are going to get the two new teams, Seattle and Las Vegas. I was going through and I was thinking about how do you want to do this? Brand new organization, expansion players, and draft players. They're going to be 1 and 2, okay? And I was thinking, how do I want to set this up? What would I want to do in this situation, in this scenario? I started thinking about a couple different coaches. So number 1, Bill Self out of Kansas. I don't know if he's still interested in coaching. I have no clue. He does look like he's a little bit tired of what the college game has become. It is massively different. And I think he would actually be a guy that could work in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is going to get really young. And by really young, I mean really young when they trade Giannis. Because they are going to get all those players, those older, expensive players, will be out. And Milwaukee will have, they'll have in a sense a clean slate. Bill Self, to me, feels like the opposite of Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, everywhere he's been, think about this. Celtics, big city. Los Angeles, big city. The Bucks, small town. He doesn't do well in small. He just doesn't. He needs the free agent pull. He needs the desire for that destination to be sought after. He needs it. It's that simple. He's been coaching since 1999. He's coached the Magic, coached the Celtics for a long time, Clippers, 76ers, and then the Bucks. The Celtics is where he really, really made a name for himself. And it was his Celtics teams were really, really good. And then, excuse me. Then he gets they get traded. He gets traded to the Clippers. Still one of the most bizarre things that have ever happened. Then he goes to the Sixers. And see, out there, it's just a little bit different. Because I was looking at the Philadelphia 76er years. I was looking at him. Year number 1, won the Atlantic Division, 49-23. Year number 2, second in the Atlantic, 51-31. Year number 3, 54-28. Second. Now he lost in the second round every single year. With the Bucks, that first year was that partial year where he only coached 36 games. They lost in the first round. Last year, went 48-34, lost in the first round. He needs the players. He really does. And his Boston run, oh gosh. His Boston run was amazing. He makes the playoffs. Doc Rivers is a lot like Mike Tomlin. He makes the playoffs. They play really, really hard. Everything that I've looked at, he has never been swept. He has never been swept. Which I don't think is correct. Hang on. No. Because, if I remember correctly, last year, let's see, yep, that was that. No, they did, that's right. They got the one game over Indiana, that's right. Yeah, because we were all pissed off as Indiana Pacer fans because we go, why did they even win the game? Yeah, so Doc Rivers has never been swept in the playoffs. Never. He's won only one game in the playoffs, but he's never been swept. And that's going back to the Orlando Magic days. So he is a very good head coach. But I don't think he's built for Milwaukee. I don't. I don't think Milwaukee is where he's most comfortable. So I think Willie Green in New Orleans is definitely in danger. I think Doc Rivers moving on to a different location is definitely possible. The Sacramento Kings always confuse me, so they may fire Doug Christie. I don't know. The 76ers may fire their head coach. I don't know. The Raptors and Hawks, the amount of money in the trades that they've done, if they were to get swept or lose in round number 1 and just not put up a good showing, it's quite possible that they could be fired as well. It's very possible. But I would really love to see Bill Self in Milwaukee. Trade Giannis. Get rid of, let Doc Rivers go find another place to be head coach. And start fresh. Now, the biggest one's going to be Dan Hurley. I want Dan Hurley to go to Portland. I have always loved the Trailblazers. I have followed the Trailblazers forever. Back to the 2000 teams, back to the 99 teams. I've always loved the Trailblazers. I always have. And I believe Dan Hurley fits Portland's current roster construction, which is really young, really fast, really twitchy. I think his coaching style, his play style fits what Portland can do. I think it would be great if Portland were to go after Dan Hurley. They can trade some players in this offseason, create some cap space. They're not old. They're young. They are not old. So I really think it could be a really good move. Some of these places you're not really sure. Like, Rick Carlisle is not getting fired from the Pacers. They tanked on purpose. The Magic got fined $25,000 for screwing up the injury report. They put Anthony Black as out, and then all of a sudden he played. You can't do that. That's why you put him as game time decision. That's why you do that. It was against the NBA's injury reporting rules. That was not tanking. The way that this year has played out between the tanking, but now the focus is on all the playoff matchups. So at the end of the year, it is on what it should be. It is onto the playoff matchups. It's onto each of these games that have playoff implications, and it's exactly what it needs to be. And I am super excited for it. I'm pumped for it. Absolutely love it. All right. NFL news. Some of the best news that I have heard for a while. The Indianapolis Colts are looking to trade away cornerback Kenny Moore. Now, Indianapolis owes Moore $10 million. And then he also has per game bonuses, which obviously the Colts save if he's traded. But that $10 million number, because how stupid it is, that $10 million number could potentially be an issue. But I think if the Colts can do it, a pre-June 1st trade would save the Colts more than $7 million if they could just trade him straight. I'm thinking you trade him, cover $5 million of his contract, and save $5 million. That's my thought on exactly what he should do. Kenny Moore has played well. Okay? In 9 seasons, he's got 649 tackles, 6 forced fumbles, and he does have 21 interceptions. He did have a big year 2 years ago. But he was never worth the money. Charvarius Ward told everybody in January that he was considering retirement because of the concussions. That was January. February, he comes out and he says, I'm reconsidering if I really want to do that. Now, could it still happen? Yes. But I do want to point this out as we look at the draft a little bit. So when you look at the draft and you go to the corners, as I do, I love looking at the corners. When you go to the corners, it is very interesting when you start going down this list. And we'll go down the list of who's going to be in attendance here in a second. But next week I told you I'm going to give you some of the sleepers. I'm going to give you a sleeper now, though, that I think teams could pass on because he's very underwhelming isn't the correct term. But in a sense, he does lay low. It's not a huge standout. But as a corner, most first-round picks, I want there to be something about you. Okay? Most first-round picks, I want that. But in the second round, just give me solid. In the third round, just give me solid. I need somebody I can start every game. I need somebody I can trust to go out and play the game. That is what I need. That is exactly what I need. Brandon Cease from South Carolina, 6 foot, 190 corner. He does have an issue when they're doing comeback routes of grabbing and holding. Working with the NFL coaches, they'll show him what to do. But I think he is that just level. Really consistent player that you just rely on. The Indianapolis Colts had this type of player at corner for many years. For those of you that may remember, there was a cornerback named Nick Harper. In Madden, he never got rated above an 85. And at his lowest, when he was starting, he was rated an 82. He was just consistent. Was he the top end? Heavens no. Was he the bottom? Heck no. He was consistent. And I appreciate consistent. So in the second round of this draft, if Brandon or Chris Johnson, the corner from San Diego State, if either one of them are available at the Colts pick, I would be happy, very happy, with either one of those guys being drafted. Now, there are going to be plenty of players in attendance. There will be plenty of players in attendance. I do have a couple of sneaky safeties that we're going to watch as well. But there are 16 draftees that are going to be in attendance. And here they are. Ohio State is represented outrageously well. Defensive back Caleb Downs, defensive tackle Caden McDonald, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Carnell Tate. Those will all be in the green room in Pittsburgh, waiting to get their name called. Now, Alabama. This is where it gets interesting. Who is it? I want to know which team has told Ty Simpson he's going to get drafted. I'm going Pittsburgh. I am. I think Pittsburgh has told Ty Simpson, we are going to draft you. Now, it could also be the Jets. Because remember, the Jets have that second pick from the Indianapolis Colts. So it could be the Jets. I'm leaning Pittsburgh. But there is a very high chance he doesn't even get drafted night number 1. Extremely high chance. But Ty Simpson's going to be there. Caden Proctor, he'll go in the top 15. He'll be there. Miami Hurricanes, Ruben Bain, and offensive lineman Francis Muoga. He's going to be there. He's probably the number 1 offensive lineman drafted. Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey. LSU corner that has really risen up that draft board, Mansour Delane, he's going to be in attendance. Auburn defensive end. Keldrick Falk, I see him more as a late first round pick. He's also one that could potentially fall out. We'll see. USC wide receiver Makai Lemon. Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. Arizona State receiver Jordan Tyson. And Tennessee cornerback Colton Hood. Those are all the attendees, the 16 players that are going to be in the green room for the draft on April 23rd. 2 weeks from yesterday. 2 weeks from last night. We are going to go over all the draft stuff next week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we got NBA playoffs, but it is going to be draft central. Next week is going to be draft week. Okay? Next week is going to be draft week. It's going to be absolutely huge. All right. Kaleb McGary, a longtime right tackle for the Atlanta Falcons, has retired. Now, this has actually opened up cap space for the Falcons. And then the Falcons moved quick. They signed the right tackle that used to be with the Chiefs, Jawan Taylor, to a $5 million deal with $1 million in his incentives. $5 million deal with $1 million in incentives. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. McGary signed a 2-year extension last summer. They will get some of that back. In fact, they should get back around $10 million. Should get back $10 million of that. So with that, they went out and they spent $6 million. And now the draft focus, potentially, they could go offensive line in the draft. And there are plenty of offensive linemen. I was actually talking with a couple different people. And, everybody's got some differing views on how everything's going to play out. Whether or not this year is going to be really good, whether or not next year is just going to be the quarterback draft, and then you're going to have like 3 or 4 good guys besides that. They're everybody's all over the place. This is what I have come to for this year. It's this. Guys that you want on your team because they're just going to play. A guy that I could easily see working in Atlanta. I easily could see Drew Shelton, 6'5", tackle from Penn State. I'm a little bit higher on Blake Miller from Clemson than a lot of others are. He played the most snaps at Clemson ever. He has the record, 3,778 snaps at Clemson. He's 6'7". Sorry. He is 6 foot, 7 inches, 317 pounds. I like Blake Miller. He to me, he looks like a Kaleb McGary. He could easily fill into that place. So I do believe the Falcons have opportunities. I really do. Looking at the second round draft picks are a little bit different because of how they do it. The way that they switch everything around. But the Falcons have the number 16 pick in the second round. They have pick number 48. And with that pick, I do believe it's going to be offensive linemen. I really do. I think the offensive line in that situation, it's going to be vital. And if they can nail an offensive line, get a corner late, I still think they need a receiver. I really do. But maybe they just wait on the receiver. It's possible. I don't know where some of the rest of the receivers may go. I was looking down because there are a good amount of receivers coming out this year. I was looking down. I was looking at a guy like Deion Burks from Oklahoma. He doesn't have a lot of, as far as, he's not big frame. Deion Burks is only 5'10", 180 pounds. But to me, he fits what Atlanta may need to do. Now, Atlanta has Jahan Dotson, okay? And Atlanta's got Zacchaeus, which we've already gotten over when they made that signing. This was one of the first ones. I go, oh gosh, who cares? They got Drake London. They got Kyle Pitts. They still, in my opinion, need to draft a receiver. But there are receivers that I believe could really be good. I really do. I think if you look at everything, a receiver like Colby Young, who's played in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, could be a guy they really look after or look at. Just somebody that's big to be able to put down in the red zone to help Drake London. I could easily see that being the case. I really could. But the NFL draft is fast approaching. The teams are making their final adjustments and everything else. We're going to go over some of the news next week with the draft, with the NFL. Next week's going to be an NFL week. Okay? Next week will be a big NFL week. Obviously, Monday, we're going to set the NBA bracket first. Then we're going to dive into the draft. We're going to dive into the draft. You know, we're going to talk NBA, but it's going to be a lot of football next week. So the next 2 weeks, massive football again. Hope you guys are around. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic Friday. It's supposed to rain. It says 100% chance of rain. It has been 100% nice. So I'm going to go enjoy the rest of the day and then go from there, basically. And I'm going to have a fantastic weekend. I am. That is the plan. That is the goal. That is what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to try to do. But you guys have a fantastic Friday. Make it the best weekend that you can. Watch some of these NBA games that they're going to make a difference. Playoff seeding could look outrageously different when you and I meet again on Monday. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Have a great Friday. Make it the best weekend you can. As always, I deeply appreciate every single one of you. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the podcast with a friend, and have a fantastic time while doing it. Until Monday, guys, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. Have a fantastic weekend.